And we are live. Welcome to Redbird podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing. Joining me today, I've got my two amazing co-hosts. Why don't you two introduce yourselves?
What's going on, everybody? We are back for the 2025 season. We have a fun pod for you tonight. My name is Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with two O's. And we are also joined by our newest co-host. I don't know if anybody remembers from last season. Papa Mac has moved on to bigger and better things. And we now have... Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on? What's going on, folks? What's going on? Name's Zona Gule. Gule, at Zona Gule on most platforms. Excited to fresh season, fresh start. It's gonna be hard living up to the expectations of the previous host, but I'm damn sure gonna try. So, you know what? We're gonna ball out.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to talk Cardinals football with you guys. I'm ready for action. How are you guys feeling about this draft? I've got like kind of mixed feelings on it.
Of course you do. You're a resident pessimist. How could you not?
I don't like that we focus so much on the defense. I think that a wide receiver would have been nice.
So personally, right? I think this draft was a bit of a message to the organization, just kind of based on how last season went. Shout out Nick Rawlis for balling out the way he did, and he was rewarded handsomely with not only Walter Nolan, not only Will Johnson, but four other people to utilize in his defense. So you know what? I think that has something to do with it. The defense was clearly lacking also in like talent and was still good. So, imagine that with all these really good players. But yeah, like that's kind of my perspective on it is this is like, okay, we're rewarding Rawlis for actually trying this season. Petzing, you can take the Texas offensive guard and, have fun.
See, I like the Texas offensive guard because he's a guard and he looks like he would look right at home in a Klan hood. So that's a good sign right there.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you right there. No, but all seriousness, I have enjoyed this draft. I think, we all watched the same 4 months of, shit defense. Not that they weren't trying, but, that was our biggest weakness. You come into the draft and you address all of that. And I actually do like this guard pickup. He's very versatile, so he can play anywhere on the line. He's taken some snaps at center even. So, that, it's just a kind of a developmental pick, in my opinion. Some good depth possibly. And he's played some good talent in college. He came from Texas. If you guys are curious, go watch his tape against Michigan. He was shutting down Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. So overall, I know Will kind of made fun of me in our group chat during the draft. Granted, I was a little drunk, not gonna lie. When we took Walter Nolan, I didn't crash out online as much as I did in person. Because I thought that was going to be our Will Johnson pick right there. So to get Will Johnson day 2, like I was ready to build the statue.
Everybody was crashing out over Will Johnson. Like I was looking at the Instagram for the Cardinals after we took Nolan, and almost every fucking comment was, "Why didn't you take Will Johnson? Why didn't you take Will Johnson?" And it's like, for him to fall to us at, was it 47, 48? 47. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. I threw up a little graphic on the screen here because our papa, Darnell Dockett, he loves this pick. He says, this pick actually made me smile, and the last time I smiled like this was when we drafted Patrick Peterson and Ty the Honey Badger. No shade to other players at all, but it's something certain players you sense, dog. I'm 99.999 right. So if Darnell Dockett likes it, I like it. Walter Nolan claims he's going to be the next Aaron Donald. He's ready to get to work, according to him. So,
see, I know it's easy to get sucked into the team propaganda. Like, oh yeah, these guys know what they're doing. These guys are, if they're making the decision, it's the right decision, whatever. But I mean, Monty's made it abundantly clear that character and like just what he sees in somebody is incredibly important to him. I mean, so for him to put his seal of approval on Walter Nolan with these concerns about his work ethic and all that, I think is incredibly telling, and I think is a very good sign.
And I think too the first quote that came out, I believe, from like him getting drafted was, "Let me get that playbook." So he is ready to play. I think in addition, which we'll touch on later with the free agent signings, good segue. Signing, Dallin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell, and then you're still having guys like Darius Robinson in their mix, and guys like Bilal Nichols, who again we'll touch on later on. All of those guys are going to make Walter Nolan a better player, because I don't think any of the guys I named are going to stand for low motor bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially Calais Campbell. So he's almost in a perfect scenario. There's probably a better scenario if I really put my brain to it, but he's coming into a D line that is just, it's crazy to see how much this D line just improved overnight. It feels like you go from having Roy Lopez, God love him, Roy Lopez, and like guys like Chris Tonga and stuff like that, to Tomlinson and Nolan and Calais, and Darius is fully healthy, and
it almost doesn't even feel fair.
It doesn't,
like just how much we've proved.
It's night and day, and I'm incredibly excited to see what Nolan does.
And you forgot one big name, Josh Sweat. That's the big one.
That's the star of our free agency.
That's the crown jewel, if you will. So this entire front seven, and I'm including guys like Gaither Davis, Jordan Birch is a guy who, and we're kind of skipping around. I'm kind of skipping around. We're ignoring Will Johnson for now, because I have a lot to say, very good things to say about him. Jordan Birch, Cody Simon is kind of like that Kaiser White role. Denzel Burke is kind of like he'll play like a little safety, but like all of those guys that we added are going to be so freaking good. Hopefully, God willing, but it's just, we did so much to address it. And it's so weird, because I'm used to Keim kind of like, and again, Keim hasn't been here for 3 years now. It's almost time to get over him. But like, I'm used to wishy-washy drafts where we draft guys from like, where did Chad Williams come from? If you guys remember,
Grambling State.
Grambling State, great school, not a D1 SEC Big Ten type of.
But I mean, it's still an HBCU powerhouse. I mean, it's not nothing.
Powerhouse. It's a good. I'm not saying it's a bad school, or like Fordham with Chase Edmonds. I love Chase Edmonds, but like, smaller schools where we're taking flyers. These are guys who are
Pittsburgh State
championship level pedigree,
John Brown,
really good pedigree. But yeah.
It should be noted we have only taken 2 players that were not in a Power 5 conference under the Monty regime, and those 2 players were both like 6th and 7th rounders. I mean, we had our safety from Nevada in this draft, Keaton Crawford, and we had that wideout from UAB. Like, this has been a very FBS Power 5 focused regime in terms of draft capital, and I think that's a very nice change of pace.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say hello to some of the people in the chat here. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Silverwolf AZ, he says, let's go. We got Robert Moore here. Good evening, Robert Moore. Robert Moore says, JG repeating what he did in Philly. Told Sirianni to focus on offense, and JG will deal with the defense. Next year, max the stats on the defense, and we all saw results, which is true. Like, we did year 1 and 2 of the Monty regime. We did get some pieces on offense. He did inherit some players, obviously K1 and Trey McBride. So we got some line depth, last year and the previous year. So now it's time to really cook on defense.
I will say this draft is an abject failure because we didn't draft Ashton Genty.
Oh, this fucking guy. And look, for everybody tuning in, we are in a big group chat, Cardinals group chat with Will. And Will had his Ajanti agenda from
the agenda,
Will, from like October.
As soon as he started making noise, I fell in love.
Yeah, so every day it was like, get Ashton Janty, and it's like, no.
You guys are gonna hate me when Lenora Sellers is the next man up, because that's gonna happen, and I will have said from the jump. that he is the guy.
I was talking to somebody the other day that was like he wants to stamp Lenoris as like the number 1 pick next season, but he's too scared to like he thinks he can be, but he's like he needs to see like maybe a little bit more before he fully like locks it in.
Here's the thing. They just got their new OC is the guy who unlocked Cam for the Panthers. So I'm all in on it. I'm all in on the Lenora Sellers agenda because that like to have that exact the guy who like figured out that exact archetype and made it work in Carolina for as long as it did. That's perfect. That is the perfect hire, and I think that he will unlock Sellers to an insane degree.
I'd also like to mention to everybody that hasn't been following, Will lives in North Carolina. So,
unfortunate soul, really.
Yeah, so there's some bias there.
Says the people that live on the fucking sun.
Hey, it is nice outside. In fact, I thought about doing this pod from outside, but allergies are going
You're
nuts.
crazy.
Right,
you're crazy. I'm sorry. 80 degrees is still crazy. I don't know.
It's a nice breeze. There's a beautiful sunset.
I'm gonna go for my walk tonight. It's probably gonna be great, but that's when the sun is down. So
it is 65 and rainy here in my neck of the woods.
Gross. No, thank you.
My neck of the woods. You're such a hick. You know that?
Okay, so Will Johnson aside, because I think that's the real star of this draft. Who do we love? Who do we love from this draft class?
I love Walter Nolan because he made me $200. Yeah. One of the guys in the group chat, I want to say it was Noah. He suggested like, hey, with all these edge rushers that are coming to visit, I should put some money on it. I was like, damn, that's some good thinking. I'm gonna do that too. So I put $100 on it, and I put another 10 on it, and I made $230.
Yeah, Noah is a degenerate, and we scream at him to call the hotline. But you know what
gambler.
What I initially thought with all those like D-line edge guys coming in for their 30 visits is they were trying to kind of see who would be good in like a trade back scenario somewhere later in the first round, or even a second round pick. So I was actually like low-key surprised that we went the route of Walter Nolan, but really like with the way our team is, you could have gone anywhere that's not quarterback, tight end, or running back, and it would have been a solid pick. But I've come the Walter Nolan pick is really growing on me. And I think he fits what we're trying to do here. We like to bring a lot of pressure with the interior D line versus like guys on the edge. And then we still got a guy for the edge, Jordan Birch. So we'll see if he can pop off this year.
We got a real edger, folks.
Correct. See, so the thing about Jordan Birch, and I'll bring this up, and I will probably eat dirt for what I'm about to say about Jordan Birch. I think with the correct amount of time, he could end up being one of the better players of the of Monty's kind of like draft resume. He was good with Oregon. He was a good little edge rusher. He kind of plays. It's kind of weird. So his physical like traits, right? He's like Cameron Jordan, kind of sort of. He's not Cameron Jordan, obviously. He's like Cameron Jordan light. But the thing with how many like edge rushers we've like brought in and D linemen and all this, he's gonna get time one-on-one with Monty and Rawlis, or with Monty, excuse me, with Gannon and Rawlis and all them. 10 sacks, exactly, 10 sacks to really like develop. So I don't think you're gonna see a lot of him from his rookie year. Like too much. Maybe he'll get some like some snaps here and there. I think year 2 or year 3, you're gonna really see like the fruits of the labor of that pick kind of show up, because I am the more I read about him, the more I learn about him, I fall in love with that pick more and more. It was a very good pick for third round. I kind of hated it at first because I'm like, oh, there's an evil part of me that was like, oh, I want Cam Scatterboo.
Of course.
I mean, come on, let's go Devils. But like, he's going to be super exciting to see how he develops, especially with the guys we have in our coaching staff and are surrounding him too. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him.
I've got
And you
bad
know
news.
what's nice about all of these guys is that we did such a good job in free agency and then drafting from years past, that these guys don't have to come in and be baptized by fire, that they can really get, possibly get some meaningful reps this year. But there's no emphasis on like, okay, go be Superman and save the day. And we've done a great job of developing these guys. I love what this regime is doing with the development of these younger rookies that would have never saw playing time under a Vance Joseph system.
Absolutely.
Guys, I got bad news.
I love bad news.
You're pregnant.
I like how this defense looks. I really do.
Is this a
I
top
do
10
too.
defense?
Was that?
Is this a top 10 defense?
Way too soon, but could be.
It
Could
depends
be.
on how this team gels together, but we've seen how we can, like, what we can get out of like very little, at least in that first year of Gannon. Last year it took a step back, I'd say. But
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it took a step back last season.
it was frustrating at times. It felt like we couldn't get like a real rush on the quarterback, and it feels like
That's true.
everything we have done since, like getting Walter Nolan, getting Calais Campbell, getting Dalvin Tomlinson, Josh Sweat, good God, I pity any fucking offensive lineman or quarterback who has to deal with this shit. And now that we have Will Johnson, if he gets healthy, and God love him, if he's as good as he was in college, if not better, that cornerback room looks scary.
That DB room, we haven't talked about it enough. I'm sorry, the starting, because we'll talk about cuts later on, obviously, but like
I think we have. I mean, at this
DBs.
point, we have to say SMB is probably on the cutting room floor at this point.
He
right?
could be, but here's why he's not. Here's why he's not, right? Because I think
Okay.
your top four, Will Johnson, he's CB1 right away. I love Garrett, but he's a slot corner. That is what he's great at. We'll keep him there. Mad Max, he's going to be your DB2. And then Murphy Bunting's going to come in, probably sub in a lot, especially if like Will's showing struggles early on or Max is still kind of struggling. I think it's still good to have a guy like SMB as your DB2 or 3, not your DB1, right? But moreover that, right, you still have guys like Starling Thomas, who I still really like as a good rotational depth piece. You have guys like Keyshawn Clark, who have been in the system for 3 years, so you have to consider him. Guys like Elijah Jones, who he didn't play in his first season, but he was a third-round pick, so you figure there's some investment into him, right? And then there's other guys I'm clearly forgetting, but like that room is deep, and that's just the cornerbacks. I'm not even talking about the safeties yet. It's unbelievable.
My only issue with the draft is one that I think is easily combated just by how this team is supposed to be built. This is a power running team, like first and foremost. So I mean, to build this team around the defense and to not take a wide receiver makes sense when you think about it that way. I don't quite get why you draft Marvin if you're going to be a power running team. I don't know why you did just pick Joe Alt, but whatever. That's not me. But I am very excited for how this defense is going to look. And looking at this schedule, it is a very favorable schedule, I'd say.
Third place schedule. Yep. Yes, sir.
We play Carolina at home. We're going to lose that one. I know that much, but
No.
Don't say that.
Listen, you and I both know what's going to happen, and we're going to play them again next
year. They got
year.
some magic on that. That team also had a very good draft.
Yeah, they had an A+ draft according to PFF, as did we. Notable mention, but yeah, they drafted quite well.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. But I mean, it's not a draft expert there. According to Mel Kiper, there's only one A+ draft.
What, the Browns? Because they finally picked Shador out of pity.
Oh God, that was so funny.
Oh man,
they picked a quarterback just so they could avoid taking Shador, and then their fucking owner's like, "Well, what the fuck? I got to please my buddy. Pick Shador." They picked 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs in like the first 4 rounds.
Can I say a take? Can I please
Sure, go for it.
Yes.
So instead of Denzel Burke, I wouldn't have hated Shador Sanders.
No.
Boo! Everybody boo! Throw tomatoes. Boo!
I wouldn't have hated it.
Culture nightmare. No, fuck
Culture,
no.
listen. it's the 5th round. And Denzel Burke, I understand we just drafted him. He's
I
already
get-
a cut candidate.
I
He's
get-
already a cut candidate.
I get that. I get what you're saying, but on the same token, you don't want a 5th rounder who comes in acting like a 1st rounder.
Absolutely. No, I get it. I 100% agree with that. Like saying, I think, especially with the question mark, it is a question mark as much as I love Kyler. With the question mark you have at quarterback, I understand you signed Jacoby Brissett as well. Why not? Right? Clayton Tune, get the fuck out of here.
I actually want to touch on this because I find this whole dilemma fascinating. Can we touch on this? Oh yeah, so their quarterback room as it stands, they got 5 guys who on any other roster would at least be the backup. They've got Rapey McRape Pants, they've got Joe Flacco, they've got Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. How the fuck do you cut down from that?
Fun fact: Donald Trump has endorsed 2 of those 5 quarterbacks on
Yeah.
social media, so that's interesting.
Kenny Pickett did not show up at the White House visit today, so good for him.
Good for him. Was it today or was it yesterday?
I don't fucking know, but he wasn't there.
I don't fucking care. Saquon Barkley, by the way, interesting guy.
There was a theory I saw once. I think it was I want to say Justin Jackson used to play for the Chargers. He said that these athletes they don't really have time to like get into politics, so they just take on the politics of whoever they're dating. And that just seems so fucking true with Saquon.
Let me just say, I don't want to like deep dive into politics too much.
Yeah, good steer.
Me neither.
Was going on a weird thing. That's my bad. That's my bad for bringing it up.
But I was scrolling through Twitter, and there was a picture of Saquon and his wife, and I'm like kind of just fast scrolling, and I had to do like a scroll up double take because I'm like, when the fuck did Brittany Mahomes and Saquon Barkley get together?
Oh man.
Oh, howdy, Joe. Papa Joe is in the chat tonight. Hello, Joe.
Yo.
We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Now, I have some fun things on the docket tonight. I don't know if you want to get into that quite yet, if you have any more free agent or draft jargon to talk about before I segue.
No, I mean not much.
We are starting a GoFundMe for Will Johnson's knee. We are starting a GoFundMe.
Listen,
we are starting a GoFundMe for Wills Johnson. Get some huzz on it.
Okay. All right. Now I regret the pick. Yeah, we should have not picked him. Oh man.
I've got dick jokes for at least 3 years now. That's great.
I know at one point on my fantasy team when David Johnson was still alive, what was the name? It was like I love D Johnson or some shit. Anyways, this graphic came up on my Twitter, or this tweet came across my feed, and it says we got a new pope, and then it says the pick is it, and it's the Cardinals graphic. So Will kind of brought it up today in our group chat. What Cardinal, any Cardinal all time, would make the next best pope?
Leonard seems like a gimme.
Yeah, and you know what? There is a
Pope,
correct
yeah.
answer here, and it is Leonard, but let's just say Leonard's not available. Who we taking as Pope?
All right, who we thinking is like a holy motherfucker?
Listen. We are a progressive people. Trey McBride is my vote for Pope. I think he would be a great candidate. You know, he'd be hype. He'd bring hype moments and aura to the Catholic Church. You know what? I'd vote for him.
You know, I'm gonna.
They call him 007. 0 touchdowns, 0 hype moments, 7 gay parents.
Jeez. He had hype moments. He had the cool hurdle and stuff, and like where he
had like 3 weeks of hurdling people.
He was sick.
Moments. You don't know anything about hype moments.
I'm cracking wise.
And you know, speaking of Trey McBride, the 49ers just had to outdo him and make old ass broken George Kittle, 31 years old, which is I feel ashamed of saying he's old because we're the same age. They made him
senior citizens, dinosaurs, born in dinosaur, meteor, get the fuck out of here.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, they made George Kittle the highest paid tight end as of this morning. Thoughts on that?
I mean, he's kind of washed at this point.
I don't really mind George Kittle being in the NFC West for more time, especially as he gets older. You know,
That team. I mean that whole roster is busted up by week 5. I'm not really losing sleep
Mikel's
over it.
scary though. Mikel going to San Francisco is kind of scary. That was a guy. That was a guy I kind of wanted at 16 if he were to fall. But he didn't. He went to the team I least wanted him to. So that's lovely, isn't it?
The second I saw him go, I thought I was at $100.
Ooh,
Yeah,
man.
that would have been a solid pick, but no shot it was going to make it all the way to 16.
No.
But I was actually looking, I've been doing a lot of like watching YouTube videos, seeing like draft grades from other teams. No one was really high on their draft because they addressed their defense because half of their defense is gone. But they really didn't do any favors for Brock Purdy on offense. And then now it's like you pay George Kittle, you have to pay Purdy eventually.
They traded one of their wideouts, right, to Washington?
Debo.
Debo's gone. Debo's gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ayuk is not on the team past training camp either. We'll see.
It's fucked up that they had both Sun Devils and South Carolina wide receivers, and I couldn't get behind them. It's like, oh fuck. That's rough.
I think they did get a running back somewhere low. I don't quite remember.
Did they get Jordan James? That might have been them. Hold on.
I don't know.
That was a guy
I will say something that will make me deeply unpopular with Arizona sports fans.
Uh-oh.
I think that Cam Scatterby was overdrafted.
No, I think he was drafted exactly where he needed to be drafted.
He was not a day 2 pick. He was an early day 3, and that's totally okay.
I think that a lot of the hype around him is just like aura and not necessarily like, okay, well, this will actually translate to the NFL.
I mean, who knows? But that's my thing. It's like, we've already got Benson. We just extended Connor, DeMarcado, Michael Carter, DJ Dallas. Like, they're not bums. So
yeah.
I think
this running back room it looks really stout. You know who would really look good in this running back room?
Ashton Janty.
Oh man.
Oh, shut up. Man. Boo. Joe has a comment. He says during the mock draft Monday live stream, a 49ers fan was talking noise about how the Niners were going to take Will Johnson.
I'm so glad they didn't. I'm so glad the Rams didn't get him. I was worried about them, like a lot about them getting Will Johnson, because that seems like a Rams pick. Just like, oh, whoopsie, we traded back and ended up with, top 10 level pick. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, we got a first next year too. Atlanta did the right thing by getting 2 edge rushers. Yeah. Why'd you give the Rams 2 picks? Why?
And what's funny about that is that the Falcons are probably going to not be good, so it's going to be a high draft pick for the Rams.
They're going to be able to trade up for a quarterback of their choosing, be it Arch, be it Sellers, be it Nico, be it Klubnik, Nussmeier, Sam Levitt, anyone. They're going to have their pick of the litter, which is very frustrating.
Will, how pissed would you be if they got Lenore Sellers?
I would probably cry and maybe kill myself.
You're gonna give that freak of nature head coach Lenore. Oh no, no.
I keep seeing the Rams getting him in every mock, which I would actually kill. I would die if he went to the Rams. I will say a name that I like for next year. If we're looking for a speedy wideout, is another South Carolina boy, Nick Harbor. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Just, track star, insane speed. The only guy in NCAA football 25 that has a 99 speed. Just complete freak of nature.
Monty, we got a scout for you right here. We got a really good scout. This is his resume right here. He's putting his line on the line. There you go.
No, thank you.
All I'll say is that I've never missed on a draft crush.
You know what's funny about draft crushes is that every like draft cycle, I fall in love with a corner, just because we haven't had a real solid corner since Patrick Peterson. Every year we don't get that corner, so it's nice to crash out day one just to get the guy you want in day two.
Yeah.
And he's mad that he went day 2. That's the beauty of it. He's gonna play angry,
And I mean,
which is good.
according to Gannon, Nolan did something he's never seen before. He's like, "Hey, can I have Johnson's number so I can talk to him about it?" Like
That's a
day
real
one,
move.
day
Real
one,
move.
you already have a culture. You already have chemistry building. Like that's just so cool.
You remember when Patrick Peterson got left like little nasty notes, little nasty grams at his locker, telling him that he sucks by certain general managers? Remember when that was the report about our culture? Look how far we've come. Look how far we've come, guys. Just
That
in
whole
I forgot about that.
I don't even
yeah,
remember
no,
that.
and like that's what when people I guess can we talk about like Pat Pete probably going to the Ring of Honor? Like he should like
He
can we
should
talk
be.
about that?
He should
Yeah.
be. It's not. It wouldn't move me as it would if he just kind of left.
I think that people who have like just these massive hard feelings towards it just need to get over it because I think
No,
Yeah. Like
no.
he has the right to be pissed at Steve Keim.
He has the right to be pissed at Steve Keim, but you know, just the way you conduct yourself.
Oh, I mean that's just how
get on
athletes
Kyler
are,
Murray
you know?
for not being a leader, but where were you? You know, were you a leader when you were crying about a trade twice, and then to try to walk it back, and then take PEDs, miss the first 6 games of the season, really fuck your team. Not only take PEDs, but try to mask the PEDs, and then to talk shit about Kyler Murray when you only played with him 1 year.
That's true. And it's like he's not innocent. I wouldn't say
He's
in
not,
that type of stuff.
but I think that a large portion of it is just a large portion of his hate towards this team is towards Keim for the most part.
I think him and Bedwell probably Bedwell kind of like defaulted to Keim's like opinion on him, but Bedwell doesn't seem like the type to maybe I'm rating him wrong, but he doesn't seem like the type to hold grudges like that. Over time, like he usually time heals all wounds with him. So it's the fact that it's to see all those players on that little stage when they did have him retire day or 1 day as a Cardinal. That was kind of cool. Like seeing like the no fly zone. You saw Calais, you saw Larry, and you saw Drew Stanton there for some reason. I'm like, oh yeah, you existed. I remember you. You did the funny dance. Like that was cool.
I think the fact that he was willing to retire as a Cardinal tells me that this is fine.
Well, he doesn't have a legacy outside of here, so I just feel like it was like one last little glazed for his ego before he went out.
Whatever.
Will he be in the Ring of Honor? Yeah.
Who cares?
Now the real
Most of
is does Tyrann Mathieu deserve Ring of Honor? Ooh,
yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
He deserves Ring of Honor, and he is a fringe Hoff case. Next question.
The difference between Mathieu and Patrick Peterson is Mathieu didn't throw players under the bus. It was just Keim.
He got screwed over by Keim back because he was
and he really did
right.
Screwed over by Keim.
He was willing to take a pay cut. I do remember this whole conversation because he was making what, like not even crazy money, like $7 million, I believe. I could be wrong, but he wasn't making like crazy money, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take a pay cut to stay, but like also, I would like to be compensated for being your best defensive player." And then Keim kind of just farted on the mic and then left. So,
and not only that, but if you read all the reports about what came about with Steve Wilkes and his lawsuit bullshit, is that
yes,
it was reported that Tyrann was pulling up to the facility. He saw Wilkes in the parking lot, introduced himself, and Wilkes said something of like along the lines of like, "You're not even going to be on the team."
That's horrible, man. That whole era. I'm so glad we're past that. And I was worried about defensive hires like for like the rest of my existence because of that. And then Gannon was like the complete opposite. Just chill guy. He's a bit of a dork, but like he's chill. He doesn't cry about gap integrity.
I've come around on Gannon. I wasn't initially very high on the hire, but I'd like to think that I was wrong on that, and I'd like to think that he can turn it around.
there's more reason for us to believe in him right now than there is not to believe in him.
For sure.
As far as what we've seen so far. And it's like people are like, oh, well, he's cringe and he's a dork. And it's like, well, we had fucking Coach Cool for what, 4 years?
Yeah.
And it amounts to shit in the grand scheme of things.
Look at the coaches currently succeeding in the NFL, right? Andy Reid is doing fucking Fumble Rooski commercials every other, and it's the worst commercial ever. He's doing Fumble Rooski commercials. Sean McVay is like the ultimate hype man. I would get so annoyed if that was like not my coach. So I hate him, obviously.
Yeah.
Sirianni is like beefing with fans every other game, even though like he's the most successful coach in Eagles history.
But he's also,
and yet they still beef with him.
And he's also like kind of run ass backwards into success. Kellen Moore, he owes him everything.
He owes all of his coordinators everything. He's just a fucking doofus. And then he gets Saquon Barkley, and it's a no-brainer. Just run the fucking ball.
It's still, but like, just I kind of just like talking about it, like all of those coaches are cringe. They're kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ours is cringe, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
It's endearing.
Gannon's weird thing is that he just is like, you got that fire in your gut. Who took the bus to you? Who drove? Pew, pew, fireworks. He's just like incredibly awkward. But you know what? I guess,
But that tells me he's not, social. He just hits the books, and I like that.
Yep, nose
he's
in
a
the
good players coach.
He's a nerd.
Has there been like in the 2 or so years he's been coach? Has there been reports of like people like, oh, Gannon's just a horrible person. Or Gannon's a horrible coach. He doesn't know what he's doing.
No. Coaching is the only thing that people agree upon is the good thing here. People hate the owners. People hate the facilities.
No more casitas though. We need more casitas.
Oh, and a really expensive frou-frou restaurant. That'll definitely bring in winning culture here. But no, yeah, that back to that draft, or not the draft, that player report card, still bottom in the league for overall grade. Our facilities still suck. And then it was magical that comes out. And then it was like, oh, we're making renovations. We're going to get a new practice facility. It's going to be done in 2027. And it's like, cool. This should have been done years ago.
Yeah.
I remember, I think Bruce was on, it was either Bruce or it was AQ Shipley. One of the two. They were on like the Pat McAfee show, right? Before Pat went all mainstream. And they were talking about what it was like being like on the Cardinals, because they were talking about like his success. And like it was a conversation centered around Bruce. And they were talking about how Bruce pushed so hard for all of our like facilities to get upgraded while he was there. So you'd imagine when he left or when he retired or whatever he did, right? I don't think it was upgraded ever since. Like it's probably the same stuff. And
no, it's been the same for like even before Bruce.
Like 06 probably, right? When we got the new stadium, we probably built the facility around a similar time frame. So like it's so weird to see just like your most successful coach, Bruce Arians, right?
Yeah.
He invested into the team in like more ways than one, and it showed on the field. So I don't know why you don't continue that later on. And I guess this is kind of a weird thing to complain about, especially now. Like I think maybe that's just complaining just to complain about like Bidwell, but like I don't know. It's definitely weird to not invest so much into your team, but instead invest in like restaurants and casitas and not affordable tickets for your fans who have begged for a good team, and they're finally getting a good team, but tickets are going to be expensive as shit. So I don't know.
They did it ass backwards. It's like invest in the team, get good, like maintain fans, because Arizona fans are fair weather fans. When the team's doing good, they will come. When the team's not doing good, no one wants to be there.
Get ready to learn a away team, buddy.
But it's like, I get you want to make like the stadium and then what's around the stadium like a nice entertainment district and have all the nice like fancy pants amenities that other like franchises have with more success. But it's like you got to win first, and then you can throw in all those perks.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. All right.
Next topic of discussion, which is like completely off topic, but we can't ignore what's going on Twitter and in the world right now. We are a pod of the people.
Oh my god.
There's a question. One gorilla, 100 men. Who win? But more specifically, let's just say we're doing this for real. Current, past NFL players, who are you drafting on your team to help you fight said gorilla?
So Kyler Murray
Lewis.
can like distract them and like run around and like kind of distract the gorilla, just be speedy, be evasive and stuff like that. And then you take like Calais, you take Darius, you take guys like that. You start beating the over the head. And yeah.
Do I have access to cloning technology?
Like, you want to do how many of who?
100 of one person.
Who?
Ray Lewis.
Not 100 Ray Lewises, but
yeah, a lot of cases.
But if you want to go like the doubles and cloning route, give me like 10 Vontaze Perfects, dude.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think about that. Ooh.
Give me like 5 Richie Incognito. Give me like 5 Antonio Browns.
Richie, they're saying this gorilla's gonna be your new lineman.
Yeah, wait till he finds out what continent the gorilla came from.
Oh god.
Richie, we've given the gorilla a cell phone. Do not text anything inappropriate to him, okay? Okay? Got it.
Richie, this gorilla's guarding your father's casket.
Oh no.
All right, this is how we don't continue. This is how
this is where we get canceled. It's been a good run, guys. No, but give me like, so I think would be like my strategy. Is you get your like D line and O line in like just some big body, tubbies. You send the tubbies in first to overwhelm with size, because yes, the gorilla can probably pick them up, but it's going to be harder for a gorilla to pick up a 400-pound man. The kid that the undrafted free agent from Florida that went to the Bucks, that 400-pound
perfect situation for him, by the way. That's a perfect place for him.
They also, fun fact, they have both the skinniest and the fattest person in the league right now, which I think is beautiful.
Who's
skinny? Some kid from Oregon. He's like 150 pounds.
Tez Johnson?
I guess.
That was the guy I wanted to draft. Hey,
see, this is what you do. You send that 400-pound man in with Tez Johnson and use him as a spear or like a
Tez Johnson is just riding him into battle like on his shoulders.
Exactly.
And just like drop kick him like right in the head. Bah!
Joe says, like, after the gorilla kills 4 men in brutal fashion, the other 96 would run for their lives, and 8 of them would die while running away. This is why you get everybody extremely high on meth and hope that they can beat this gorilla.
You have Jonathan Gannon hype him up. You have Buda Baker hype him up, right? Those are your hype men.
We got to get Jane Goodall on the case. We got to ask her.
If the gorilla was Coco, we could probably finish it. But it's, just a wild silverback gorilla. Give me like... So yeah, like I said, like get your O line and your D lineman in there, overwhelmed with size right off the rip, and then maybe like some like linebackers and DBs, and then maybe like your physical like speedy like wideouts. Like once he's overwhelmed, like then they're jumping on like its back, trying to like gouge its eyes out. And I will say, go for the orifices. Any orifice you could stick your thumb in, go for it.
I don't know about that last part. I don't know. That's a little, because like there's only a certain amount of orifices where it's like okay. Then it's like I think we won.
Let's take a look at the schedule while we're here, because I want your guys' opinion on like how you think we're gonna fare just right now.
Are way too early predictions?
Yes.
We know the opponents. We don't know the dates, correct?
We don't know the dates, but we do know our opponents.
We also get a new uniform. Oh my gosh, one game, but we get a new uniform. Whoa!
Do any of you guys have a notebook?
I have a notebook. I just need a pen. Continue talking while I look for a pen.
Good morning, USA.
Listen, if the uniforms aren't white jerseys with the Arizona flag and the little blue on the
I mean,
shoulders.
the rumor I've heard is that that Bidwell just hates those unis because they remind him of like when we were losing, and it's like, buddy, we've always been losing.
We've always sucked, Michael. We've always sucked. Like,
and whose problem is that, Michael? Whose problem is that, Mike?
Listen, I will say Mike is slightly better than Bill because apparently Bill would talk about ice cream all the time, according to my dad. So,
yeah, I mean, he also charged fans for water, didn't he? I know he charged the players for Gatorade.
Horrible person, horrible soul.
Okay,
Bro,
I got a piece of paper. So what are we doing? It's our predictions?
Yeah.
All right. So we got Gule.
I know. If I remember right, when Montana was looking for a new spot after the Niners let him go, we had a meeting with him, and he was ready to be a Cardinal, but they didn't like have the facilities ready for him. He was locked out. So
you're kidding.
Dead serious.
You're kidding. Oh man.
Joe Montana.
Joe fucking Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Can't trust nobody, dude. Real quick, I just want to say hello to Stilo. He just jumped in. Stilo, you missed the gorilla talk. We talked about what NFL players would beat the gorilla. So if you have any ideas, drop it in the comments. But I'm ready, Will. I'm ready to.
All right. Rams at home.
We are beating the Rams.
No.
This is our first. Oh, we don't even know. Okay, just.
I disagree. I think we are losing to them at home.
Will says L. I say dub. What you got, Gule?
I think at some point we beat the Rams this season. I believe it's the one we take at home. So yeah.
I mean, isn't the stat that we beat them on the road, not at home?
We beat them last year at home.
We
but that was like the first time since like they were in St. Louis, wasn't it?
You know what?
It's a dawn of a new era.
I think it doesn't matter which one. I think we'll split the series with them, almost guaranteed. I think.
Yeah.
San Fran at home.
That's a win.
Yeah, I'll say that's a win.
I will also say it's a win. Win.
Seattle at home.
That's a loss.
Yeah, I agree.
We're going to have Devin Witherspoon Part 2 happen.
That was another one of my previous draft crushes.
Actually, no, I think we win that one because I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm sold on Darnold for the Seahawks.
I just Kyler Murray's brain turns into mush when he plays Seattle for some reason.
I'm not sure on Darnold, and they just lost DK Metcalf, so I mean,
they got Cooper Kupp. They got Cooper Kupp though, and they upgraded that offensive line.
Oh wow, they got
2 years ago would have scared me, but come on.
I'm not sleeping on that. I'm sorry. That guy does have good. He does own us a little bit. So you know what? And until the demon is put to rest, I still fear the demon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Atlanta.
That's a win.
ATL, that is a dub.
That would be Penix, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Penis, whatever his name is.
I'm not sold on them. I think we win against them.
Let me get the dub. Okay.
I think that'll be a good test for the run defense because Bijan is probably the best running back we'll play. I'm just like kind of breezing through the schedule because you consider like Jonathan Taylor. Like
I mean, Chuba's pretty damn good.
Chuba ate us alive, but I don't think he's gonna do it again with this defense.
Yeah. I think that's the best running back on here. It's probably Bijan. That's probably the best running back we play.
Jacksonville. I think that's a dub.
Yeah.
You that sold on Travis Hunter?
No, but we play down. I don't know. It's so hard to predict. So far out. I'll say win. I'll say win. I see the game we're losing. You'll see it. I see the game we're losing.
Tennessee Hunter. Before we transition, do you think he's going to play more wide receiver or more corner?
I mean, I feel like they're going to have him play more wide out.
I think he plays more DB, and then he's more of like a gadget wide receiver in the league. He'll get both, but he's going to primarily be a cornerback. I think that's what he's just better at.
I think his dream of doing both sides of the ball to the extent that he did at Colorado is not going to happen.
It's a pipe dream. It's different league.
It's not going to
I think
translate.
he's gonna try it. I think they'll try it for a little bit, but then they'll realize if they want to get the most out of him, being both gadget plays where he's like it's like a 4 wide receiver set, or like he's like on the field maybe 2 times a drive. Yeah, that's probably what they do. Kind of like what we do with Dortch a little bit.
Cincy on the road.
I want to go to this game.
Cincy on the road. They did upgrade, but they also had a weird draft. They took the oldest player, I believe, in the 2nd round.
The last player to be born in the 1900s. How does that make you feel, Jackie?
Oh, back when dinosaurs roamed the land and the Twin Towers are still up. Jesus.
Were you alive when the Twin Towers went down, Gule?
I was a month old, so.
I was 8 months old.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, they didn't really add any O-line help, huh?
Nope.
Defense is kind of mid.
Not really. Not really.
I mean, it's typical Joe Burrow era stuff. They'll upgrade everything but the O-line and wonder why Joe Burrow is hurt at the end of the season.
That's Joe to you. That's Joe. That's my aura. He's got aura, man.
He does.
Hype moments in aura in Cincinnati.
They call him 007. Zero rings, zero linemen, 7 hype moments.
7 hype. You have to remember the aura part. 7 hype moments in aura.
I feel
I want to be a Joe Burr stan and say we win this, but I don't.
I don't know if they've improved their defense enough for that to move the needle for me. I mean,
it's a Gaither Davis revenge game. Folks.
I mean, Stewart drives me crazy because how the fuck was I sold on this guy who was like, oh yeah, this really solid edge rusher, and then I'm listening to the radio on draft night. This motherfucker had 1.5 sacks and he was just drafted 17th.
He's what he's kind of what people thought Chop Robinson was, or like he's a project, but like he has the like the profile of a really good edge rusher. And Chop ended up working out this season, so maybe that's what Cincinnati's going for. But
I just drafting a project there when you just need so much help on defense and you need an O-line. I mean, it's criminal.
Where did they pick again? Remind me.
They picked right after us.
Right after, sorry.
Right, that is true. I wonder if Walter Nolan was on their board, and Shamar was kind of like a fuck it. There goes our guy. Whatever.
Maybe. I forgot to do Packers at home. We are losing that one.
Hold on, I didn't get everybody Cincinnati.
I feel like we lose to Cincinnati because I feel like for whatever reason that's going to be in December.
I think that might be that low-key could be our opener. Because we always open weird ass games. Like we opened Tennessee like a couple years ago. I think that's going to end up being like a random ass like week 3 game, and then we end up winning.
So, okay, so you say it's a dub.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot to do Green Bay at home.
You did Carolina as well, and the Titans.
Oh yeah, Carolina. Did we do Carolina?
We did not do Carolina.
Okay, that's
so we missed out on Carolina. So I have it open on myself right here. We have Carolina and then Tennessee. I don't believe we did either.
We did not.
My brain is a pudding right now.
Okay, I already wrote down Green Bay. Green Bay at home.
That's a loss.
That's a loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a loss as well. And then what was it? Carolina at home?
Yes.
Yes.
That is also a loss.
Also a loss.
I'm gonna say it's a dub.
They have our number at home. Anywhere really. Titans at home, I say that's a win.
That should be a win. Yeah, I think that could be a trap game because that's what Carolina was last season. It just depends on where it falls on the schedule, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna also say it's a win.
The Dow-ass Cowboys on the road.
That's a dubski. That's a
Dubski.
dub. Kyler Murray has never lost at AT&T Stadium. That will continue this season. Let's go, K1. Let's go.
K1 is Dallas Cowboys' father.
That's Kyler World, not Jerry World.
The H-Town Texans.
I'm gonna say it's an L.
I think their O-line did not upgrade enough. I think
their wide
Jalen
receiver
Brown's
room's
gonna be
pretty
running
barren
for
right
his
now,
life.
isn't it?
Their wide receiver, yep. Tank Dell, I don't believe will be ready.
I mean, he's out for the whole season. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
like that's a yeah. I think that's a win. Their O line is garbage. That will be a good litmus test to see how we play against bad O lines or bad O lines to see how good this like D line is truly like become. See if they don't they don't play down or anything. But yeah, that's a win.
The Indianapolis Colts. I feel like that's a win.
That's a loss.
What?
Oh,
That is a loss. I think that is your weird road game where we played down.
Really?
I felt that about the Texans. But
It's interchangeable. I think for sure. Like both of them are like take your pick.
Because I mean their quarterback situation. I mean they've got Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. So either one of those just doesn't feel like a good starting quarterback. So unless you're that sold on a duo of Pittman and Pierce, I don't see.
I don't see it.
I think.
Isn't that defense Swiss cheese?
Talk about it for a few minutes because I gotta pee.
Go ahead. I think with Indianapolis, I think they're well. I would say they're well coached. I think it's going to be Steichen versus Gannon. I think too. That's two former coordinators going at it, so that'll be kind of interesting as well. Kind of like that dynamic. I think Jonathan Taylor should keyword is should have a good game. And it'll be another test. That's another good running back will play that. We'll see how good our run defense truly has become from last season to this. I don't know. It's another game. It depends where it falls in the schedule, and it's the same with the Texans. So it's either or. Take your pick. I say we lose to the Colts.
I don't think it feels like we usually face them like early in the year.
Pretty early. I remember. Do you remember the Jermaine Gresham holding game where then he got holding and then David Johnson broke his wrist like the next play?
I do not.
That's a distinct memory. Because
did you know that okay, so let's see here. Looks like it alternates back and forth because it's like the last time we played them was Christmas of 2021.
I was at that game. Got COVID that game. That was not
before
fun.
That was 9/17/17, and then November, and then September, and then January. Okay, so this means nothing. This is nothing. There is no schedule trend here really. But yeah, no, I feel like Indianapolis. It's not. I don't think they have our number. I think we're good.
Moving on.
The LA Football Rams at Inglewood. I believe we win.
There's your loss. There's my loss. There you go.
Okay.
I have them winning us winning at home, and then we lose at their place.
Same.
You guys are really gung-ho about us giving us home wins, given how we fare at home.
Last year when I went on, well, granted, I did go to one away game, but we had a very solid stretch at home.
We need a GoFundMe to get you to more games because the second you stopped going to games is the second we fell apart.
It really was.
The Saints, I think we kicked their asses.
That's bully ball.
They're tanking, so yes, that's a W.
They're going to be starting Tyler Shuck at some point, and it's going to be really bad. And I can't.
They're getting
give us them week 1. Actually, no. Give us them week 3 because the first 2 weeks they're good. Week 3, give me New Orleans.
Get ready to learn Lenore Sellers, buddy. San Fran at San Fran.
I think we sweep them again this year.
Yeah, I think this is a sweep.
Let's do that. Seattle at Seattle.
We lose.
No.
Did we lose? Did I say we lose at home?
We went
on the road.
Home, so we're going to win on the road, and then you say we lose, Will?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm scared. What is our record? What did I say our record's going to be?
Well, we're not done yet. We got one more game.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Tampa Bay at Tampa.
Oh, that's a loss.
I will say that is a loss as well.
That's Baker versus Kyler. It's gonna be
It's going to be dynamic, but I don't.
See,
like
it's
what
tricky
Tampa's
for me
been
because
doing.
I can see where this would be a loss, but I'm not sold enough on that Tampa team right now. Mike Evans isn't getting any younger. Chris Godwin's always on the IR. Their defense is scary, but I mean that's all you got. So
I people didn't like the Egbuka pick from them, by the way. You just listed the two exact reasons why I like the Egbuka pick. It's like, oh, they have Evans and Godwin. Why would they do that? Evans is old and Godwin's always hurt.
Yeah.
There you go. It's what Seattle did with JSN, and look how good that's working out for the JSN pick is. Like, come on.
But it's also all they have now, so I mean,
So
Better than nothing.
Seattle.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, I know. So Jackie, where's that round us out to?
You say that's a win?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, let me tally.
I'm scared. I think I definitely overshot our win total. I'm a little worried.
So Gule has us going 11-6.
Yikes. Okay, that's fine. I think that's expect. Do I want to say it's expected? You know what? I'll revisit that later on. But yeah, okay, 11-6. Okay.
Will has us going 12-4.
What?
So, pack it in, folks.
Oh no.
Oh, the optimism. Oh.
No.
Oh no, I too have us going 12-4.
12-5.
All right. So it looks like our ceiling, just off of what we've been talking about, is 12 wins. I think that's fair. That's a fair.
This is giving me like big episode 1. Like Steve Wilkes is our guy. We're going 9-7.
This isn't a rebuild. This is a retool.
Oh god. Also, side note, this is my dumb high horse. I'm gonna get on for 15 seconds. I hate the fucking schedule release events that they're making this big thing of it. Make this a fucking noon press release on a Monday. This doesn't need to be a fucking thing.
Yeah,
I should not have to sit through an hour-long fucking schedule release just to see, okay, well, when can I go see a football game?
Are we going to know our new uniforms by then, you think?
We will.
Or do we
I think if I remember, they announced them that night.
I hope they're cool, because I will buy a Will Johnson City Connect, whatever the fuck we're doing with them.
Get ready to learn DH gate, buddy.
And see, they said that whatever these uniforms are, it is going to be some sort of City Connect where they're
attached to the city.
Yeah.
What is Cardinals in Spanish? Los Cardinals or something like that. Yeah.
We're gonna have.
You think Bidwell will allow that nonsense? He doesn't think though. I say that as Bidwell thinks it's nonsense. I think it would be cool, but.
Well, no, because we play a lot of our international games in Mexico. The population of Phoenix is predominantly, we have a lot of Mexicans.
Yeah.
Myself included. So.
You think we could do like maybe throw green in the uniform? If in that case, that'd be kind of cool, interesting.
Maybe like some green trim around like the lettering in the jersey would be.
I hope we get a cool uniform. There's a first time for everything.
But I can see maybe a kind of what the Diamondbacks did, like a nice sand color.
I hate that color though.
It's clean.
I guess
I like it, and then maybe like a Sedona red.
Oh, Sedona! They keep calling it Sedona red. Like nobody's calling it that.
You know what I mean, though. It's not like a true red, just kind of like a earthy red.
Earthy color?
Guys, I just had the worst thought. What if it just says Bird City Football?
That was the worst hashtag in human history. I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Who the fuck calls it Bird City?
Crash the fuck out if it said
Bird City. Nobody calls us Bird City.
Fucking
Glendale, Arizona, Bird City. What the hell? Birdgang, maybe. I would buy a jersey that said Birdgang. Actually, no, I don't like. No, because football jerseys don't have like slogans on their shit, right? I don't know. I wouldn't want like a slogan like the NBA does with like their city jerseys. Or
See,
like
I like that with the NBA though.
I don't like how it's a different set basically every year.
Yeah, I think the way that MLB does it's better. The 3 years, like 3 years, stick with
But-
that.
And then you
Then
get a
3
new one.
years,
Yeah.
The new jerseys that we have on the collars, they do say Birdgang.
Yes. It's on the white jerseys. They say Birdgang.
I forgot what mine says. I have the red one, but it
The
says
red
something.
one I think is Respect the Nest or something like that, or Rise Up Red
Protect the
Sea.
Nest.
One of the two.
I
Protect the
think-
Nest.
Joe says, I remember one time I met Bidwell like 17 years ago. He had Ronaldo Cantu with him. Cantu worked with the organization to reach out to the Mexican market in regards to maybe like a Mexican tie to the uniforms. And, Mac Wilson did, announce a pick in Mexico. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Mexican soccer jerseys, but they have like a nice like Aztec like print on them. So maybe
Ooh.
incorporating some of that in like a
Some Aztec shit would be sick.
way would be sick.
They were gonna do that with the Suns uniforms. Like they dropped they like soft dropped the concept and people didn't like it, so they didn't go with it.
If it's nothing like loud colors and like over the top, like all over pattern, I think they can do it pretty tasteful. Because like I have a Mexico soccer jersey and it's like my favorite thing that I own.
If it looks good, like again, like, and also like I like the idea of like maybe you introduce a different color that the team doesn't normally use. So like green, for example, I think that would look good with our red. And like our that kind of like scheme we have, that'd be cool. I kind of want to see it. What we do. It is sad that we had the home game in I think Mexico City the other couple seasons ago, and it was of course we played the Niners, so you can imagine what team was being cheered for at that game. It was pretty sad because I think Will Hernandez he ran
Cowboys?
out with the flag. No, it was the Niners.
No, I'm saying the Cowboys were being cheered for.
Right.
No,
like-
there is love in Mexico for the Cardinals.
Is there?
I
I
mean,
hope there is.
I've only the farthest down I've gotten is Rocky Point, so that probably shouldn't tell you anything. But there is some buzz there. I watched a Cardinals game in Mexico at a bar. Like
That's
I went to Mexico once when I was 5. I had little Grips crackers, and that's all I remember.
My dad was born in Mexico. Shout out my dad. First
Shout
language
out,
is
Dad.
Spanish.
All right. Any other thoughts before we get out of here? Overall, draft free agent.
Cautiously optimistic Will mode. Everybody stand by. It's scary, folks. This is a scary time because I feel optimistic about this team. I feel like our defense, which was our biggest problem last year, has been. If this all rounds out and if this draft is a hit, this is a fucking phenomenal defense. And I feel like our O-line last year was pretty solid until they got banged up. And I feel like, assuming Connor doesn't fall off a cliff, that well's not going to dry up anytime soon. Oh God, I'm optimistic.
Horrible news. I know.
Oh no.
And
see, every year I come into this thinking, there's this I don't like, and there's that I don't like, and rabble, and then I actually get on the mic, and it's like, but I think we're going 11-5.
I'll say this, and I'll give you some pessimism to work off of, which I think with our defense being so good, I do wish our offensive line was just addressed a little more. As it stands right now, I believe our starting right guard is a guy who I think his name's Freeman. Let me check. No, it's not. It's Royce something. Royce Newman, I believe his name is.
Who?
Right. Royce
It's about
Newman,
to shift
I
some
believe his
guys
name
around.
is.
That's not right. It says here on this depth chart that's Isaiah Adams.
Is it Isaiah Adams? I don't like Isaiah Adams also, by the way. But
I'm not.
I
sold on either of the
think
Illinois
there's
boys.
too many question marks on the offensive line for me to be fully like gung ho we're gonna be so good. Especially
Evan
considering
Brown is the left
Evan
guard.
Brown is the left guard. Yes, I'm very happy we brought him back.
Adam,
I feel like, I mean, assuming that we get some guys to move, this would be fine. It's. I know that's not ideal for anybody.
No, not at
but
all.
I mean, Kelvin Beacham's currently a backup as it stands. Is he a cut candidate? Do you think?
No, he's
No.
your backup tackle. Like, and
Yeah.
he's solid enough as a backup.
Okay. All right, let's get into cut candidates because I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's do that before we get out of here.
Yes.
Clayton Tune to me feels like a cut candidate.
Bye.
Because he feels like, I mean, that's an easy contract to get rid of. We don't need him on the roster if we got Brissett. So I think we can say pretty safely that he's gone if Brissett doesn't shit the bed in preseason.
I think Keitrell Clark is a cut candidate.
That would be sad.
Our corner room is loaded. I don't think he's got what it takes to pull ahead. For some reason, he's not getting snapped.
I feel like if you're going to cut anybody, it would be Bunting. Because I feel like he's got the kind of contract.
He's a veteran, though. I think you
He's
value that veteran
I
presence.
think you want the vet presence, even if he's not going to see a lot of snaps.
Especially he's done some winning in his career a little bit too. Like, he knows how to be a pro, and especially since how young that room is, that's gonna matter.
Yeah, I guess.
Those says half the CBs are cut or practice squad. But we say cut, but obviously we'll stash some guys on the practice squad, so it's not like below.
Nobody on the special teams I'd get rid of. I'm very happy with all of them.
I think someone who isn't a cut candidate in my mind, who people are calling for him to get cut, I think Bilal Nichols ends up finding a decent role, because of the fact that he is a nose tackle, and I think we only have Dalvin, and that's it at specifically nose tackle. So I think if we're going to cut anybody on the D-line, it's going to be Justin Jones.
I mean, Bilal's also a guy who has done his best work when there's other guys around him, so he can feast.
Exactly.
If our theory is correct, and this is just that stacked of a defense, then that's a guy who's going to come in and feast.
So Justin Jones, would you say is a cut candidate?
I could see it.
I think like the odd man out might be LJ Collier. As much as I personally like him, maybe that's a practice squad guy.
That's another gay guy, I believe.
Another gay
extension to.
Whoa!
Another gay. Whoa! That's a guy we signed an extension to, I believe. So I think he ends up staying. A thing that Monty does like to do. If anyone, I don't imagine, are familiar with hockey lines. The idea is you have a fresh set of people almost every other play.
Yes.
And the idea is that by the end of the game, the offenses are tired, they're exhausted, and at the end of the game, you have a relatively fresh Josh Sweat, a relatively fresh Calais Campbell, Walter Nolan, XYZ. You know what I mean? So they're gonna. It's just a matchup nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, Colby says the modern D line is a
line change. Yep.
Which I think I said it maybe last year, the year prior. I'm like, this is not sustainable. You can't just be subbing out guys left and right. But it's kind of worked out in our favor, and now we are pretty loaded at the position. That fuck yeah, why not?
Look at Philly. Philly did the exact same thing with Milton and like Jalen Carter. And then they would bring in other guys that would just come in, and it just like Kansas City didn't know what to do. They just ran out of gas because all of their guys were either on the offensive line were hurt or they were out of position because of people being hurt. So that is the modern archetype, I think, for a successful D-line, and we have all of those pieces. And then, like I said, Justin Jones, I think, is the cut candidate because Birch kind of replaces him, I believe. Nolan, you could argue, could replace Bilal, but I don't think Nolan will play nose. I think he'll play more like right the end, like kind of like on the outside a bit. But yeah, I think Bilal isn't a cut candidate for sure. Dante Stills, if we cut him, by the way, that would be like malpractice because he's our
That
best
would be
guy.
malpractice. I would absolutely hate that. So if it was like a matter of like Stills and Bilal Nichols, give me Stills.
I could, and I know nobody's going to be happy about this. I could see BJ Ujulari being a cut candidate.
I could see that too. Honestly, again,
because he's
would
coming
kinda
off of two
complicate.
two season-ending injuries
Yeah.
and early season-ending injuries. So he's coming off of two entire seasons of missing football.
You don't know what you have with him.
He is the biggest question mark on our defense by a mile. I have seen people say if BJ Ujulari, if, and it's like, buddy, we haven't had anything to go off of.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all question. This is a true story. I was bored one day, and I saw somebody say like, "Hey, if you look on eBay, you can find cheap autographed jerseys." I was like, "Fuck, I'll do that. See if I can find any cool stuff." I bought an autographed BJ Ujulari jersey on eBay for $15.
That's real.
So
that's
maybe that can be a
investment,
giveaway later in the year.
There you go.
Yeah. Specifically talking defense, another cut candidate that I've looked at, and we're talking specifically secondary, like the safety room. I brought it up earlier. I don't know if Denzel Burke makes the fucking roster. Honestly, like it's super tough. It's super tough considering the names that are in there. And if he converts to safety, okay, sure, you have that. You have Buddha, you have Jalen Thompson, you have DTD, and then you have Joey Blunt, who's gonna get cut for the guy we drafted 7th round, Katan Campbell. So where does Burke slide into all of this? Where does he fit? Where does Elijah Jones? We've used a 3rd round pick on him last season. Where does he figure in all of this? You know, it's definitely an embarrassment of riches, which is a weird thing to say for a Cardinals defense.
Well, I mean, I've certainly said that this defense is an embarrassment at times.
Right. No, now we get to add words to it like riches and
it's just unfortunate when you have these injuries to guys that you've drafted at a somewhat like not obviously not high, but just like a 2nd and a 3rd, and then they get hurt, and it's like at some point you have to just kind of cut your losses if you don't have good tape or training camp out of these players.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited. See, Suns basketball being as bad as it is means I have to put everything in the football basket.
That's a bad team. Bad name.
It is. Hey, Gule, are you ready for Dylan Brooks? Are you ready for that?
So AZ Esports Card Fan says Nichols has less of a cap hit to Jones, so I'd lean that way if you'd have got one him or Jones. That's a good point. I'm purposely ignoring that.
That's my boyfriend, by the way. He's in the other room, so be nice.
I will be nice. Oh, I'm not being. No, that's a good question. That's a good opinion to have.
Yeah.
Like cap hit wise, I think Bilal, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 3-year deal. Jones was a 2-year deal. So I think Jones, you could swallow that cap hit. Pause. For the season, and then Nichols, if he plays well, you can like have him for the 3rd season and be like, fine. Let me fact check myself before I continue. I believe Bilal's on a 3-year deal.
But Nichols did have a somewhat solid showing last year when he did play.
Let's see. He's a 3-year, $21 million contract. Justin Jones contract. They're both 3-year. I see. Okay. And then Justin Jones is making $31 million. So okay. I see. I would think that's so tough, isn't it, huh?
Yeah.
That's so tough.
All I know is I've already done my mock draft for 2026, and buddy, get ready to learn.
This guy had us picking at 8. He had us picking at.
Listen, I traded up. We were at
Harold
12.
Perkins. Welcome to the Cardinals.
That's a weird way to say Lenora Sellers, but have at it, buddy. Free country.
I want to save that specific topic of, okay, what happens with what happens if the offense is shit this year and it's the defense? What happens? I
Lenore
want to save that
Sellers.
for another episode.
Lenore Sellers.
Well, I will save that for another episode because I think we can go on for an hour just on that topic alone. What I will say, I'll keep it brief, is that there are no excuses this year. There are no excuses.
Right. I like what we said at what I said the end of last year. It's like everything that's wrong with Kyler Murray is all mental. If he can get right and just, now you've got a stellar defense, just be a game manager and not turn the ball over and then run it as hard as you can. I think we should be fine. And I think us doubling down on defense this year tells us like, okay, like we feel like our offense is set. We've given you all the tools. It's on you guys to win the games.
It'll be interesting for sure. I think when you look at it, grand scheme of things, I hope if we are successful, Nick Rawlins, can you just stay for another season after this, please? Please don't get poached. Please don't.
Somebody's gonna be the Browns coach next year, buddy.
No, leave him. He's ours, bro. You gotta leave him alone.
Leave Pookie alone, okay?
Exactly. You could have Drew. You could have the bald man. You could take him. Go ahead and take Drew Petzing. I don't care. He's a very good coach. You'll definitely want him. Rawlins sucks. But like, it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. This is I would say the most important Cardinal season in the last 10 seasons. I think this is more important than like the JJ Watt Hopkins year. I think with the amount writing for not only just this season but the future, there's going to be a lot of eyes on us, I think, to do well, or there's going to be some heads rolling in certain departments, if you will.
Yeah, and Monty said that, when he accepted the job, that this is going to be a 2-year rebuild. We looked at the beginning half of last season like we were ahead of schedule, and really towards the end of the year, it's like we are not a complete football team. So I think
you can argue now that we are now.
Now that you really can, given everything we've put into this defense in free agency and in the draft, that, this should be a defense ready to roll. And I feel like Monty has, not only drafted to show out this year, but he's got a clear vision, and he's building things the right way with not only getting guys you want this year, but developmental pieces that, you can sustain this defense for a long time than just 1 or 2 years.
Exactly. Because it's one thing to build something up, but it's another thing to maintain it.
Right. You want to build a dynasty.
Uh-huh. No one's in this for winning one ring. You want to win multiple rings. And that's again, I'm so jealous of the Rams.
Here's the part where I come in and say we are losing every game. We are going to draft number 1. We are going to draft Lenore Sellers, and we are going to rebuild.
That's a weird way to say Arch Manning.
That is a weird way to say Arch Manning, but go off.
Why would he draft a 3rd-round quarterback in the 1st round? Why would he do that?
Actually, you know what? I lied. That's a weird way to say Sam Levitt. And then we
now you got okay. We gotta go, dude.
Let's go, Sammy. Yeah.
Crap in my pod.
Let's go. And then we can take Jordan Tyson round 2. We take CJ Fight round 3. Let's go.
And Sparky in round 4. Okay.
Activate the fucking Valley.
You know why his name is Sam Leave It? Because you should leave it behind in college where his game can actually fucking work.
His game is really good. Be nice to him.
Colby says pray for
Sellers is his father.
They've never played.
Exactly, he's undefeated.
Listen, playoffs when we win the Big 12 championship, we're coming. Just say we're coming. We're here. We're here for dubs.
Oh wow, you beat a fucking beat up Colorado team for the Big 12.
We didn't play Colorado. We played Iowa State.
This year.
This year we didn't play Colorado. Dion, listen, get ready to speak Dallas Cowboys, buddy. That's all I'll say.
Joe says off the rails. All right, Will, take us out of here.
All right, this has been a phenomenal episode of the Redbird Redzone podcast. It was a pleasure to have each and every one of you. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing.
And I'm Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at jsandiego. That is with 2 O's. I had a lot of fun tonight. Appreciate you all for being here.
Zona Gule at Zona Gule on most all platforms. This was fun. I'm excited for this season. It's gonna be a lot of fun talking about it.
This is gonna be the most fun 0-17 season ever, boys. I'm so ready.
And we are out. Good night, gentlemen.
Peace.
Later.